Something's been on my mind. The fact that when I bring up the name Geoff Shaw, so many people have not heard of him, and it is a travesty. So I want to bring to light the masterful artwork of Geoff Shaw for you guys to enjoy. So I didn't announce this live stream anywhere. Welcome to anybody who's watching. Um, but this is just going to be me kind of geeking out over Geoff Shaw's art and hopefully bringing him to your attention so you can go out and start supporting his work and picking up some of his older work. So I'm going to do a screen share here. And we are going to look at some of his amazing work via the Felix comic art website here. So let me pull this up. And let's see here. Boom. Add to stage. There we go. All right. And I'm going to see if I can't give this the full stage. You guys don't need to see me here. Let's see. There we go. Full screen for you guys. All right. There's Geoff Shaw right there. So he's kind of most well known for God Country with Donny Cates. He also did Paybacks with Donny Cates as well. There's a really awesome book called Buzzkill that they did for Image. He's also the current artist on the Red Hulk book. Actually, he did 5 issues. I think there was a fill-in artist on the most recent issue, but yeah, consistently producing amazing work in varying different art styles. So, all right, time to nerd out. Here's some commission work just to give you guys an idea. Check out this Batman. This is kind of his style that he had years ago. It's almost more like a kind of a Sean Gordon Murphy, James Herron, um, gosh, even maybe a little Daniel Warren Johnson in there. This level of detail, grittiness, very cool. But he's kind of a chameleon because his art style right now is very different, and some of his commissions that he does, the art style is very different. I gotta find this. Yeah, this Hulk 181 cover recreation is just phenomenal. Look at this, dude. Like if we could really zoom in on there, which I can't, but there's some crazy detail, crazy splatter, all the line work, the gray tones, the dynamics. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Let's look at some of his actual pages. So he did do this Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance miniseries not too long ago too. So he's been doing a lot of stuff for Marvel, but mostly he's been doing covers for quite some time now. A lot of covers, but anytime he's on a book, I just I'm in heaven. Look at this Wolverine. Like the light and shadow, the intensity, the camera shots, like the angles he chooses. Like truly a master of the human form. And something I study from his work that I really geek out over is his lighting, like his placement of spot blacks, cast shadows, and everything. Just brilliant. Another great one. Lots of detail. You got the, of course, if you draw Wolverine, you got to have the arm hair and everything. He's one hairy guy, right? Let's see. So you see, like this style is more like a very, very realistic style. very proper facial structure and everything. So that's kind of his current style on the stuff that he's doing. Oh, there you go. It's kind of his current style that he does more for the Marvel stuff, both this Wolverine and the Red Hulk. Let's see if we can find some of the Red Hulk. He did this Guardians of the Galaxy run that was great. He did a King Thanos, basically like a old man Thanos thing that was really good. And here's one of the covers for the Red Hulk. Again, like look at the lighting, man. It's so hard to do. Anybody watching this who's an artist knows that this is incredibly hard to master, but he makes it look incredibly easy. And he's been consistently doing that now for a very long time. Yet anytime I bring his name up, it's like, who? No, I've never heard of him. I was actually turning on some of my original art collector buddies to his work. I'm like, dude, you got to look up this Geoff Shaw stuff. Like, you can still get pages for a very reasonable price. Like, I don't know how though. Look at this Incredible Hulk, Thanos. This is from the Incredible Hulk annual in 2024, last year. You got an awesome battle between Hulk and Thanos. Look at that. Falcon or Captain America, depending on what run we're talking about. Let's see if I can find some of his, scroll down here. Okay, this, and sadly, none of the Buzzkill art is on here. I would kill to get my hands on that. I own 2 pages from this Paybacks. I'll actually see if I can find the 2 pages that I own in here. But this style, this is kind of a more like dynamic, cartoony, like type of style. And this is the style of his that I first, found when I first saw his stuff, and then seeing him switch to this more realistic style recently, and on most of his Marvel stuff has been really cool. Let me see, where's the pages that I own? Hard to see when they're kind of small here. I'm sure there's a way I can zoom in, but impromptu live stream, not going to be perfect. Just want to get the word out there about his work. I would love to have him on the podcast, but I cannot find any way to get a hold of him. He doesn't really have any like social media that I can find or anything. Here's one of the pages I own. So I own the inks and the pencils. The pencil version is actually on the back side of that page. So it's really cool. And this is a character named High Guard. Like in this world, he's kind of the Superman, but he's kind of a of a dick. This cool, like kind of vampire character. And there's a lot of like little Easter eggs in there, like a lot of, characters that are unnamed in the background, but you can tell who they are. Like a lot of little cameos and Easter eggs that he threw in. Let me see, where's the other one I have? We'll look at some of these other ones though, because they're just incredible. And there's a character, he's right here. His name is Blood Pouch. He's essentially like, you know, an homage to Rob Liefeld characters. He actually has a little pouch, a little pocket pouch, eye patch, pouches all over. Kind of has the Shatterstar type of helmet and everything. Let's see if we can find a page with him on here. Yeah, and look at this. You can like all most of these are sold now, so maybe the word's getting around, but there were still a lot of them available um not that long ago when I was on here. So maybe somebody beat me to it and is now that his Red Hulk run is out, maybe everybody's like, "Whoa, where's this guy been? I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna go buy all this stuff." Oh, here you go. You still got some pages on here for only 120, 150, $100. And if you read the story, like all of these pages are great. Like they'd be great ones to own. And there's a cool twist with this character in the story. You actually find out that he's within the universe of something they've done in another book together. I'll just leave it at that. I guess originally it was a Dark Horse series, and then it got picked up by Image. Um, but it's a shame that it didn't keep going. Having trouble seeing if I can see the other page. One thing I don't like is leaving all the sold stuff on here, but I do like it from the regard of being able to drool over it and still see it as an awesome page. Double page spread. Where's the other one? So I know it's on here and I've probably overlooked it like twice. Check that out. Dude, talk about dynamic. You can see all the whiteout he used and the white acrylic for the splatters. And hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm kind of speaking into the ether. Watch me watch this after the fact and find out I'm speaking into the void and nobody can hear me because I can't really see the chat because I'm not looking at it on another device. Here's the other page that I own. Is conflict between the two characters. The character I told you guys kind of has a hidden connection here. So he's like recognizing who he is at this point. Oh, let's see. Oh, there's Blood Pouch. You can kind of see the pouch on his eye and everything. Yeah, guys, you got to go out and start looking up all the stuff he did with Donny Cates. God Country, again, that's like his probably the most famous thing they've done together. I know I heard that got picked up for either a movie or a Netflix series. So you'll probably be hearing more about this. I don't think you can get any of these pages. I think these are all sold. I would love to have a God Country page. Kind of a different style on this as well. Kind of just brings a different style to every book that he does, which is really impressive. Sold, 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 sold. Man, somebody knew what was up. Said, I'm getting all the Geoff Shaw stuff before everybody realizes how much they've been missing out. Look at that, dude. That's like a combination Jay Lee, um, Sean Gordon Murphy, just everybody rolled into one. Rendering, he pencils and inks his own work, so just truly, truly masterful stuff. All right, we'll look at one more thing. Let's see what else we want to look at here. We'll look at some of his Guardian stuff. Look at that. Again, a different style. I would say this is a more mainstream comic style. What's up, Sam? I appreciate you commenting. Can you let me know that you can hear me? I'm a little worried that I've been talking this whole time and nobody could hear me. I'm doing an impromptu Geoff Shaw appreciation stream here. So throw it in the chat there if you're able to hear me, Sam. All right, cool. Good to know. One time I sounded like I was in a tin can, so glad to hear that I sound okay and that I'm actually being heard here. Sam's got a Kickstarter white line deadline that's out there right now, guys. You need to go support Sam. If you hear this, you got to look it up on Kickstarter. Look up Mr. Sam McClurg. Um, he's been on the podcast twice now. Just had him on the most recent episode, and just an awesome dude doing cool things in the indie slash underground comic world. Make sure you guys go look up White Line Deadline over on Kickstarter. Yeah, I might have to pick up some of these Guardians pages. Very reasonable. Got Hella on there. Ooh, look at this Marvel Knights. You can even get a nice cover. Again, like totally different style. It's like he just gets inspired to do a particular style depending on what project he's working on. And if anybody watching or listening has a way to get a hold of him, I would love to have him on the podcast and discuss a lot of this stuff. It's just how he determines, what style he goes with depending on the project he's on would be really interesting. Dude, look at that. The cast shadow work that he does is just phenomenal. He can do it all. Again, that's why I'm saying modern master, greatly underappreciated in my humble opinion. Dude, feel like he's channeling some Keone on this one with his own flair to it. Could not be more awesome if he tried. There's Thanos and Hulk battling it out. Thanos does a little bit better than he did against him in the movies. More the representation that people actually wanted to see Hulk have. I get why they did that in the movie, though. They definitely wanted to give the impression that Thanos needed to be taken very seriously in that iteration. Oh, that's a cool Quantum and Woody. Oh, 100%, Sam. There's no hiding that. Pitt is just Hulk without a nose. Bro, like think about it. All the Image guys basically did some kind of iteration of the character that they were already doing in their mainstream work. Because when they decided to do it, they were like, okay, now we're doing it. We got to come up with the story, come up with some characters. Jim Lee basically did an X-Men take. Silvestri basically did an X-Men take. McFarlane on Spawn, basically a not Spider-Man, but in that wheelhouse of, the characters that Todd is very prolific at drawing. Um, I guess Dragon is probably a little bit one of the ones I would say was more unique because Larson had him in the Megaton book and everything way back in the day. So that was actually a creator owned character that he had in his back pocket. And to be fair, McFarlane did, draw Spawn when he was a kid. So he did have at least the design. I don't think he had like the actual backstory or anything like that developed, but he did have the original character. Um, in Liefeld, he had the young blood thing he did way back when he was younger. That was actually his samples that he was giving out was a young blood story, when he was a teenager trying to break in. So, but yeah, with definitely with Pitt is Definitely noseless Hulk. Now I'm so tempted to get on here and buy some of these, snag up some more of these paybacks pages. That, bro, savage. Look at that line work, man. I bet he uses a brush for a lot of this. All right, I keep saying one more, one more. I'm gonna be on here all night if I'm not careful. Yeah, and his commissions are next level. You can see when he's not on a deadline and he's doing a commission, bro, just next level. Might have to get me a commission. It's kind of one of those things I've heard it said about like Neil Adams, and not to compare this guy to Neil, but it's like whenever he draws your favorite character, it's like the coolest version you've seen of that character ever. I kind of feel like that's applicable to Geoff Shaw. That Thor, dude. I'm wanting to jump off here and get right to the art table when I'm done, only to realize that I am far and away from this level. You got to shoot for the stars, right? Another commission, Dark Knight Returns commission, like a recreation. Another Thanos. Ghost Rider. Ooh-wee. All right, one more. Let me look through the list here. You see, he's done quite a bit of stuff. A lot of it's covers, though. I think Thanos Wins is the one where it's kind of like an old man Thanos story. I want to say that's another Donny Cates one that he did. Oh, they only double pager. Damn. Got death on there. Ah, there he is. There's old man Thanos. Yeah, and Hulk. Hulk shows up. Bro. All right, guys. Well, if you're watching this live, thank you for being here and listening to me ramble on about how amazing Geoff Geoff Shaw is. If anyone has his contact info, hit me up. I'd like to get a hold of him and have him on the podcast and pick his brain. And I appreciate all you guys. I plan on doing more of these lives as I'm inspired to. So whether you're watching now live or you catch this after the fact, I just really appreciate everyone's support. Want to remind you again, go out, support Mr. Sam McClurg's awesome Kickstarter. Again, that is going to be White Line Deadline on Kickstarter by my buddy Sam McClurg. I have some amazing guests that are coming out on the podcast, coming up on new episodes over the next few weeks, including a couple of really big ones. So be on the lookout for those. And in the meantime, everybody, keep it nerdy.